Stowaway is about an engineer that accidentally stows away on a 2-year space trip to Mars. So, since they're all astronauts and rocket scientists, they're all smart, right? We started a launch with a lot of shaking, camera movement, and Zoe trying not to freak out. And this is Marina, the captain, and David, the scientist. So after the initial launch, Marina notices that they're lower in the air than what they should be, so she asks Mission Control, aka Hyperbian, if they should abort the mission. And Hyperbian tells her, nah, screw it, go anyway. So they have enough fuel, I guess. Then what looks like the worst ride ever happens, and now they're in space. They latch onto the spaceship that's going to take them to Mars, and I guess it spins to create artificial gravity like this is Mass Effect or something, but that's not even a real thing.
That was incredible! That was incredible!
Well, someone's excited, and someone else is not. And there's your theme for the entire movie. After unpacking, David is still feeling sick, so Zoe makes him, like, tea or something.
As your doctor, I'm telling you to drink that.
I guess she's the crew's doctor. So in a way, she's the most important member of this mission. Every time that they're talking to Hyperbian or someone on Earth, we only hear them talking, but never what is being said on the other end, which makes it kind of awkward to watch. I'm assuming it's because they didn't want to pay other actors just to be a voice, but I feel like it would have been beneficial.
Yeah, I know they can handle anything that comes their way.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Marina finds some blood on the floor, so she opens up the roof panels and finds the stowaway. I guess that's why this movie is called that. So David and Zoe are checking on him, and Marina worries about whatever this thing is.
Honestly, I'm surprised he's still alive.
Seriously, how did he survive getting launched into space and getting the spinning gravity thing turned on while being in the roof with no protection? Well, turns out his name is Michael. And Marina's arm got broke when Michael fell on her, so now she's gonna have this stupid cast on for the rest of the movie. Why are they not at all concerned about supplies or food or air with this extra person on board? You would think that would be one of the first things that come up, but it doesn't. Then Michael wakes up, is somehow fine enough to walk around, sees that he's in space, and has a massive panic attack, although I can't really say I blame him. He tells them that he works for Hyperbian as a launch support engineer and that he was working on final preparations when he fell and got knocked out. So no one else was there to assist him, no one was going to make sure everyone was out of the ship before launch, or no one noticed that he was missing. Okay, the space station sucks. I can't believe they even managed to get a spaceship in the air, let alone get to Mars.
Please, I gotta go back, please.
Michael,
Please.
I hear you, Michael,
Please.
but we're not going back. We're moving too fast. We don't have enough fuel to turn around.
You have enough fuel to get to Mars. How is there not enough fuel to go back? That doesn't even make any sense, but welcome to this movie. Whatever, so Michael has a sister that he's worried about, and that has nothing to do with anything, so I don't even know why I brought it up. The next morning, Zoe takes David through what to do in case of a fire or a solar storm. So, there's solar storms. By the way, David has to sleep on this bunk in the exercise room. I just realized they don't have any spare clothes for him or anything. That's gonna be a fun 2 years. So Michael is helping David with the plant measurements, so David's a plant scientist. And after like 3 days, they finally decide to look at what Michael broke. And he burnt the crap out of their life support assembly, which I guess takes carbon dioxide out of the air so it can create oxygen. David has this algae that he's gonna study on Mars, but Marina tells him to risk half of his algae to use it to make oxygen for them while they try to fix this life support assembly. Do they not have any extra ones on the ship? You would think that they would. Were they just banking on nothing ever happening to this one that they had? God damn, how incompetent is this space company? So he does that while David and Zoe remove their only life support system. And Michael's wound starts bleeding again, so Zoe has to patch him up, and it's revealed that he has a massive scar on his chest. Which I'm sure has a story behind it, but we don't hear about it right now, so I don't know why I brought it up. Well, the life support's f***ed, so now David has to use the rest of his algae to try to keep them alive and ruin the whole reason he got sent to Mars. This is why you bring backups for life support, you morons. And he's understandably pissed, and it immediately dies. So, after another awkward one-sided conversation so you have no idea what's going on, now they only have enough oxygen for 2 people. Why do they only have enough oxygen for 2 people now? I can't imagine Michael's taking up that much more oxygen.
I've asked David to accelerate his research, and he's managed to get his algae to produce enough for 1 more.
oh, they had to make it dramatic but still have their idea kind of work. So their solution is to find a way to get Michael off the ship, which would kill him. That's what Hyperbian told her to do. I'm starting to think someone just winged this mission and has gotten really lucky so far. But Zoe says that there's liquid oxygen from some fuel thing on the other side of the ship that they used to launch, but Marina says no because it's too risky, even though one of them is still gonna die anyway. But she gives her 10 days for them to come up with a solution, and they're not gonna tell Michael about it. Then we finally get the story of how Michael got his scar, and it was from an apartment fire when he was 9, and his dad died rescuing his sister and him, and he's taken care of her ever since. Just because I guess they needed another reason to make Zoe feel bad about what's going to happen. David decides to steal a lethal dose of some medicine and tells Michael what's going on. And then he tells him to kill himself with it. David's officially going crazy now. Alright. Seriously, this is why you bring backups for your life support system, or at least hire a crew with basic competence. So David talks to Ava on his tablet, but since it's only his side of it, I can't tell if he's actually talking to her or just leaving her a message. Also, why do they think we care since we have never even so much as seen a picture of her? But Zoe sees what he's about to do, and to convince him not to do it, she tells him about the time she almost drowned trying to save some drunk guy from drowning and had to get rescued. And then she goes and just rips into David for doing that. Honestly, it's probably the best scene in this movie. So Joey tries to teach Michael how to climb the tethers to the ship, because I guess they're gonna try to get the liquid nitrogen from the other end of the ship now. But he sucks so bad at it that they're just gonna give up on him doing it. So she goes and tells David that he has to climb the tethers with her, and he just agrees.
What, you'll do it? Just like that?
Why does he agree so easily? Well, now they're back to only having enough oxygen for 2, so someone's gonna die anyway. And now it's time for the spacewalk that every space movie needs while the audience waits for something to go wrong. They then start climbing the tether. I don't think they're attached to anything other than the clamps that they're holding. They're screwed if they slip off. And now she's not attached at all other than her arm. Now she's literally letting go and is attached to nothing. I'm not gonna feel sorry for these idiots if they end up floating off into space. But they finally get to the other end of the ship, and Zoe goes down to get the oxygen. That's not how space works. So she attaches this thing to the pipe and finds out there's some air leaking on the outside of it. But at least they have enough oxygen to fill up 2 cylinders, so they're all gonna be alright. Wait, they have about 3 months before they get to Mars. You're telling me that one of these cylinders can hold enough oxygen to supply a grown adult for 3 months? First off, that's bullshit. Second off, if that's the case, why the hell did they not bring like 5 of these filled with oxygen on board? Anyway, she gets the first cylinder filled just fine, but as she's filling up the second cylinder, they run into a solar storm. Remember that from earlier? Zoe gets upset that she has to leave the cylinder there, but it's filling up just fine and that's not what's leaking. Just come back for it later. They're almost back to their end of the ship, but since Zoe's too dumb to attach herself to a tether or attach the cylinder to herself, she starts falling way too fast and then loses the cylinder full of oxygen. What a waste of time. Is anyone in this movie smart? Apparently the solar storm is only going to last a few hours, but for some reason they need to go get the second cylinder right now. Why? The cylinder is not what's leaking and it's filling up. They're going to lose the air leaking out of the pipe anyway, so just wait until the storm is done. Or not, and just send someone to their death. Well, Michael can't do it, so who's gonna be the moron?
I'm willing.
I'll go.
No, let David go. His research is gone anyway, so he has no point to this mission anymore. I know that sounds harsh, but it's the reality of their situation. You know who's still vitally important though? The only doctor! Wouldn't opening the door— I don't even care right now. Since they're all completely stupid, Zoe goes back out and brings the other cylinder back. At least she didn't drop this one. Why couldn't she go back inside and just deal with her radiation poisoning? If the radiation itself is the issue, then why is the cylinder fine to be in the ship? But instead, she just sits there to die. So what happens to the useless engineer, researchless scientist, and senseless captain? Well, screw you, the movie's over. This movie could have been something great, but instead they wasted the entire movie on a problem that easily could have been avoided. The only thing they ever worry about is the air, because they only had one life support system with no backup plan. They could have made this about food or water, which I can see becoming a problem, but this never even comes up. They all make stupid decisions like wasting all of David's research on a whim, then not waiting until the solar storm passed to get the air canister and sending the most important member to die for it. Also, I don't understand the idea of only showing one side of the communications. Hearing Hyperbian or even Ava talking to the crew members could have helped a lot with the story. The acting is fairly good for the most part. The actors do a good job of creating chemistry between each other and acting out the situations, but they fall short when telling stories or pretending to talk over the communications. Anna Kendrick and Shamier Anderson sound flat when telling their stories, like they don't believe it themselves, so they just said the lines to get it over with. When Toli Collette is talking to Hyperbian, it's hard to guess what's being said because she doesn't take very long breaks between her lines, which makes it seem like she's interrupting everything they say. The visual effects are really good, as usual with space movies now. When they're on the ship and looking out the window, it doesn't look like a green screen, and the scenes where they're outside the ship look great. Even the scenes where they're floating around looks like they're actually floating in space. It's just too bad they created such a dumb problem and all the characters made such terrible decisions. Don't forget to do the YouTube stuff, and thanks for watching.